Hi, everybody. Yeah, it is Monday, October 14th, 2024. It's almost 7:25 in the morning when I'm recording this. And yeah, I just have to remind people for the legality's sake that I am a clairvoyant clairaudient, which is a form of psychic ability. And so everything on my channel is for entertainment purposes only. And it's things are going crazy here in the States in North America. And I do want to say happy Thanksgiving to my Canadian viewers. I hope you have a wonderful day. Um, I know it's a 3-day weekend for all of North America. I mean, it's kind of ironic that they use um, the same weekend that we have for what we call Columbus Day, although some people say the woke idiots and the politically correct fools called something else. No, I was raised old school. It's Columbus Day. It's to honor the fact that Christopher Columbus he was like the first European to visit the Americas, even though it was like a Caribbean island. And we all grew up learning the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. And I do have a crazy connection. One of my uncles, my mom's sister married this guy, Italian. And it turns out that he made a big deal saying, yeah, our old ancestral home is in Genoa, Italy, which is where Christopher Columbus is actually from, although he was funded by Catherine of Aragon's parents to do the expedition. Uh, so, yeah, it's like I was in my early teens when, yeah, we made the pilgrimage to Genoa, and my uncle is pointing out this is our old family house, and yet members of his family are still living in the house. And a couple doors down is where Christopher Columbus's family. And now but that house is now a museum kind of thing. Uh, but it's listed as a historical site. So, yeah, I did get to see it from the outside, but that was let's put it this way, as of Thursday, that would have been like 50 years ago that I saw this. Yeah. Yeah. So, but something else that okay, I have all sorts of different news feeds that I listen to, and luckily, because of my dad having me all over the place, I kind of, as a kid, I picked up enough languages. I mean, I don't use them now, but if I listen to the stuff on the news feeds, I am able to pick up enough words. So I listen to the international news feeds both in English, and then I'll listen to the actual language of the country, and then I also click on the captions where translate into English so I can read what they're saying. So it was kind of funny. Yeah, I do look at a lot of the news coming out of India, because India basically now is the big rival for the Big Red Sea. Okay? So when you go shopping for things, look for the place of manufacture. You want to avoid the stuff being made in the Big Red Sea because they basically use slave labor. So everything comes out so cheap. So I would avoid those websites, like those sites where you can buy stuff online like Temu and Wish and Shein and all those other garbage manufacturer sites. So, yeah, don't send the money over to the Big Red Sea. Look for other countries for place of manufacture. Even Vietnam, even though it's a communist country, they're not as nasty as China. Um, So yeah, it's like, so India is reporting that the Big Red Sea is playing massive war games around the island of Taiwan. And just wait. Next thing we're going to hear is there was an accident with them playing war games where it's going to actually, we know that the Big Red Sea is shooting the stuff underwater, the mushroom cloud things underwater to hit below the water of the island to cause earthquakes. They're also doing that to New Zealand. But they're going to have an accident with their war games where it will hit, parts of Taiwan are going to get hit. And that's really going to kick off shit. And the Big Red Sea is just like doing everything possible. I mean, it's like, I can't wait till all these little teeny boppers here in the States lose their Big Red Sea paycheck. Yeah, they go, oh, TikTok. They don't realize that they are employees of the Big Red Sea. And people are wondering how all these migrants are able to pay for things. Well, it's becoming more of a scandal in Europe that they're finding out that a lot of these migrants, refugees, and here in the States, the wetbacks, they all have these very, very expensive, whatchamacallits. They're all hooked into that clock sound application where they're putting up all their little video clips. They're doing vlogging their journey from wherever to their goal. I mean, if they're like, if they're part of the Venezuelan army coming in or the Iranian army, they dock their document their the way they're coming up into the country. And it's on the Clock app. And a lot of these people have tens of thousands of viewers. And every time somebody clicks and watches their crap, the Big Red Sea is sending them a paycheck. And I bet most of those phones aren't on a normal cellular service. They're probably, their phone bill is probably being paid for by the Big Red Sea so they can continue to put out all their evil propaganda. Big time. So, we got to stop by. People need to stop buying the shit that's made over in the Big Red Sea. Because if we stop doing that, then they don't have the money to subsidize these evil people from invading our countries. It's one way to people can do things here. Okay? It's a simple thing. Just start reading labels. Look for things that are made outside of the Big Red Sea. Now, one of the other news things that I catch is like from the Eastern European countries. And yeah, it's you kind of get the real news, not the stuff that's being shoved down our throats here in North America and England. You see, Vlad right now is kicking the shit out of the Z guy. Okay? I guess Vlad's guys took out like 7 blue and yellow flag brigades, which is a good thing. And Vlad basically, they're wiping out all the supplies. Well, hey, Vlad, I mean, the Z guy basically has wiped out the American stockpile. Vlad is like taking back areas of Russia that were designated the blue and yellow flag country back in the late 1940s. So he's just taking back area that is and always was part of Russia. Yeah, stuff that was stolen from Russia, 80 years ago. Okay? So that's all Vlad is doing. And then when I was watching, other sites are saying, oh, it's so horrible what Vlad is doing. I go, Vlad is just reclaiming territory that was stolen from Russia by the remnants of the Democratic Party, FDR's Democrats. Okay? Yes. Yeah, because the FDR's Democrats were actually, many of them, if you start digging, were sympathetic to Adolf's opinions. Sounds familiar to what's happening in today's world. But yeah, I did catch the Hungarian news, and I'm listening to Victor. And Victor is like laughing his ass off, saying, yeah, the blue and yellow flag country is losing their ass. Basically because they're following the EU's orders. So the EU wants destruction, wants people to have no supplies to stand up to the evilness. It's part of the EU's plan. Wipe out everybody's stockpile. And like, what was it, J.D. Vance said? It's like, back in the 1940s, yeah, we had the big stockpile. We were the ones who basically had the manufacturing to take care of and supply the needed materials to wipe out Adolf. Right now, we don't. I mean, that's why we need to stop buying shit from the Big Red Sea. We have to start looking for American-made goods. That's why we have to bring back the manufacturing here to the States and Canada. I mean, Cammy Poop's upset because Donald says the first thing he's going to do is some major tariffs. Yeah, it's called make China pay for the money that they're stealing out of our pockets by their sending goods over in that are made by slave labor. And I'm like, all these assholes that are screaming they want reparations, why aren't they screaming bloody murder about the slave labor that's going on in the Big Red Sea? So they're nothing but freaking hypocrites. Woke, politically correct hypocrites who don't know anything further than the reach of their hand. Now, there's a lot of shit hitting the fan, especially now in the Middle East, like I told you, through the Jewish high holidays. And we're just finishing up with Yom Kippur. I mean, hey, 73, there was the big upset. And now on Thursday is when Sukkot happens. It's the full moon. I mean, a lot of stuff is going to hit the fan that day. I can't wait. So, I mean, the Saudis are really supporting Israel. And one thing that they did is Saudi Arabia has this thing called the Wealth Fund. And what they do is they invest in different companies worldwide. And the money that is made from part ownership of these different countries, that's what is used as the government subsidies for the people. They don't the tax money doesn't go towards, most of the tax money, it really doesn't go towards the people. The wealth fund is what subsidizes the people in Saudi Arabia. It's like pays for education if somebody wants to go out of the country to go to school. It helps with like healthcare. I mean, it's a way to keep the tax rate low in order to take care of the true citizens of Saudi Arabia. And it was announced that the Saudi Wealth Fund has now purchased 40% of the store Selfridges. And I'm like, hey, that's kind of cool. Because, yeah, my mom's family, yeah, after they immigrated from Eastern Europe, they settled here in the Midwest. And um, one of my grandmother's first jobs, she worked at the old Marshall Fields back in the era where when uh, Harry Selfridge himself was working at Marshall Fields in Chicago. So yeah, we kind of every time in London, it's like, yeah, okay, Chicago connection, got a mom's connection through mom's side. Yeah, you always have to go shopping at Selfridges. So I was like, that's kind of cool because you know what? It's I'll probably start checking their website out and see what the international shipping is because what the heck? Now we've got another thing that was released, and it was on an India website, again, news station. They're saying, okay, the Hezbollah drones took out, I think it was maybe half a dozen of the IDF guys. So yeah, we've got a yard site for them now. But the other thing that they're also going bonkers about all these um, people who are stuck in Beirut because they're migrant workers. Well, things that the extremists do is they bring people in from countries that have a third world countries. A lot of these people are from Africa, the continent of Africa, or they're from Pakistan or Bangladesh, and the evil Islamic idiots bring them over. Basically, they're indentured servants, or basically slaves. Well, now that they brought a whole bunch into Lebanon to be the domestic workers for the Hezbollah guys. And, well, now because, hey, everything's going to hell in a handbasket, of course, the first thing the extremists, the Iranian Islamic Republic of Iran, is going to do, sorry, folks, you're on your own. They've left them high and dry. And there is still some remnants of the true Lebanese government because they're saying these imported domestic slaves, they can't come into some of the shelters set up for the true Lebanese people. And it's so ironic that it's the Catholic churches in Lebanon that are taking in and providing shelter for all the slaves that were brought in by the Islamic Republic. And the Islamic Republic hates Catholics just as much as they hate Jews. But the India news agencies, what they're doing, they've let it out that the Islamic Republic is now setting off little mushroom cloud tests all over Iran, all over in Iran. Which is a good thing that they're testing because now India has the coordinates of where to target. Because, yeah, we've got in the Mediterranean 30% of the U.S. Navy. India is our strong ally. They'll send stuff going from east to west, where we're going west to east. Boom. They're gonna boom. And when Donald gives the order, expect the mushroom cloud over Iran. And once the dust settles, that's when Crown Prince Reza is going to come back and be reinstated. So it's like, yeah, They are giving the stupid Islamic idiots, the extremists, are doing their posturing and saying, "Oh, this is what we've got," yada 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 yada, where they're showing their hand. So I'm like, okay, you just gave us the coordinates, and you know what? That's good for us. But we have to wait till after Guy Fawkes Day, because like I said yesterday, there's a whole subgroup of our military that doesn't recognize Barry's third term as their commanders, as they look at it as a faux commander-in-chief. They're still recognizing Donald. And so we're just waiting, and we know that right now people are asking, we know that the Big Red Sea and Barry, they're trying to do whatever they can to make the Guy Fawkes Day here in the States. They want to make it more people swing towards, so Barry can get a fourth term. I mean, it was announced on the U.S. news that the guy who went to the big rally in Coachella, they had really good security, which is not being provided by the U.S. government. I I remember years ago, every 4 years, every couple of years, Jesse Jackson would announce he's running for government, which meant that he had 24-hour security from the Secret Service. And they're supposed to provide that for whoever's running as a political candidate for the top job. But of course, Barry's not providing it because he knows that Donald has the backing of a lot of people. So they're trying every which way to make sure Donald doesn't get hired on Guy Fawkes Day. I mean, yeah, Coachella, thank goodness they had really, really good security out, because they did catch a guy coming in, and his car was loaded with pow-pow stuff. And he had a phony press pass. So, yeah, this dude is now out on bail, but it's providing, this guy's going to sing like a canary. And it's another proof that Barry is not providing security for Donald on his campaign. But then it's like, one of the big things that Donald has been saying over the weekend is that he is planning to eliminate the federal government control over the education of the nation's children. Yeah, he's going to start cutting a lot of stuff from like K through 8, pre-K through 12, because he's going to make it so parents actually have control and are able to keep the tax dollars that would have been used by the feds to support different crap. And parents can then take that money off their taxes for school costs. And the school stuff is going to be dropped back down to the local school boards. But here we know that Cammie and Barry are pushing for the schools, the federal government education system, to have complete control of every child. They're like using the in loco parentis rule to the absolute extreme. I mean, telling kids, oh, don't tell your parents what we're doing for you here in school, like pushing this transgendered bullshit, giving the children different, they're actually giving the kids, underage children, and these schools don't know the whole medical history of these kids, but they're giving them drugs so they can switch genders. Tell me, what 9-year-old knows what they 9-year-olds don't know what the hell they're going to do in 20 years, 15 years? But yeah, they want to control the kids. And it's like Barry basically left his kids to be raised by his mother-in-law, so he doesn't know what it's like to be a parent. And Cammy Poop has no children. So who do you think knows better what's for kids? A guy who has, 6 kids? No, 5 kids, plus plenty of grandkids. And, or an idiot with none, whose stepdaughter is a TikTok star, whose daughter is on the payroll of the Big Red Sea. I mean, this brings back, years ago, I read this book about this woman who, her husband was in the Soviet government, communist Soviet, okay? And she defected here to the United States. And one of the things that prompted her to defect was the fact that when she was back in Russia visiting, she saw that her friend's child was making a card, and they said, "Oh, is that for your grandma?" They go, "No, this is for Mother Russia." So it clicked in her brain that the government was controlling every thought in this kid's head. That's what we have now in the United States. We've got to eliminate this stupid, woke government control over the children. I mean, watch Turning Point. I mean, that dude really calls out these college brats. I mean, yeah, I admit it right now. Hey, in the U.S., a bachelor's degree is now the equivalent of a high school diploma. So kids don't get out of school at age 12. They get out of school at grade 16. Yeah. They come out knowing, they don't even know what window to throw the shit out of. And a lot of kids would be better off learning a trade. And we need to bring that back. If that happens, when Donald gets in, the parents will be able to bring back the home economics, industrial arts, business skills back into the high schools. Auto shop, where the kids who aren't really that academically inclined can learn a trade, and when they graduate high school, they can literally walk into someplace and get a job and start making a decent living. That's what's happening now. And before I go, it's like, yeah, if you like what I have to say, click the red boots down in the corner. Tip jar's in the tip jar, and everything. Buy me a coffee is in the description box if you want to schedule a reading. Shoot me an email so I can put you in the calendar book and we can schedule a time. And yeah, I did notice that, Gamer Girl keeps talking about me. So hey, thanks Gamer Girl for all the new views and the new subscribers. And if you really listen to my stuff, I focus on world events. My life is not occupied by what goes on in California by two dumb shits. Okay? So everyone, enjoy your day off from work. Yeah, and Gamer Girl, guess what? We're birthday twins. Yeah. Expect a lot of shit to hit on that full moon on Thursday. I can't wait to see what explodes in your face. See you later.